today. We'll take it to IRP here. It is round 2, Sky, here in the flatlands of Indiana for the Nautical Marine 150. Like we said, IRP in round number 2 of the Hyper Summer Series here at the Misfit Racing Leagues, and we'll race here. My name is Scott Shive. I'm joined alongside by Sky Schreck, and we've got Morgan Cook here in production. This is the first time that we've gotten to go to IRP here with the Misfit Racing Leagues. On the late model side, we had 5 flags last race out. I was going to say last week, but that was about 3 weeks ago when Deacon Smith was able to pick up that win. This is race number 2, and we've got a lot of great things on the schedule up and coming after tonight.
That we do, most notably Oxford Plains next week. One I have circled on the calendar, one I am very much looking forward to. We don't really have points, we're only 1 week into the season here, but Deacon Smith took it home in the last race, followed up by Tanner Bethea, William Hale, Jake Sylvia, Justin Crow, Jake Brout, Corey Bodie, Aaron Harden, Victor Fluger, and Dylan Delaney. Your top 10 for that race, and we've got some kind of big news here for these cars, especially towards the front of the order, because we have increased the payouts for this series. First place at the end of the 8 races gets $225 in a custom championship belt buckle. It's $150 for second, $100 for third, $75 for fourth, and $50 for fifth. But we are also going to have some penalties going into tonight's race that are going to shake things up. A couple cars starting at the back, actually. It looks like 8 different cars potentially starting at the back between Alex Grates, Hudson Geiger, Tanner Burgee, Justin Mulligan, Jared Schell, Aiden Grates, Matt Urban, and Tim Weinkoff. So a lot to watch out for tonight, both with the point standings and your qualifying results, as that is underway right now.
A lot to be shooken up here this evening after the first race, and that belt buckle to the championship winner will be provided by Molly's Custom Silver. We want to give another big shout out. We'll be giving a shout out to Nautical Marine all night long. They're founded by the Knott family in 2022, and they bring in over 65 years of combined experience and deep-rooted passion for boating to every customer that they serve. As a veteran and first responder-owned Mercury Marine dealer, they are redefining dealership experience with unmatched service, integrity, and expertise. From sales to maintenance, Nautical Marine is committed to equality, honesty, building, and lasting relationships on and off the water. You can check out all that they have to offer at nauticalmarine.com. This is the Nautical Marine 150 from IRP. And if you ever have any questions about anything here from the Misfit Racing League, you can find all information, comments, questionnaires, and anything at racemrl.com. But Sky, let's talk about this evening. We've got a new challenge here at IRP in Indianapolis. This track just over half a mile, 0.68 tenths of a mile. I say tenths, I would say a mile of a mile, or however you say that. 12 degrees in the turns, all 4 of them all around 2 degrees, just a little bit of banking on the straightaways. So I think this track could seem very straightforward, but I think, Sky, that is quite the opposite.
Yeah, and we're going to see some different lines being run here. IRP is a track that seems destined to produce multi-groove racing basically every time you run here. You see cars running right up on the wall. You also see cars running right up on the bottom, but these drivers are going to have to be a little bit careful up there on that high line. These cars get loose pretty easily, but depending on your setup, I've been told if you have a good setup, cars are going to spin. If you have a bad setup, cars are going to be very tight. So it's going to be managing the setup, managing your tires, managing that high line out there. You also want to keep it off the wall, because the wall can really reach out and grab you at this track, drop you a lot of time through the corners. So you've got to make sure that you keep it off that wall if you are going to run the high line.
We'll have multi-groove racing here this evening. A lot of drivers running up towards the wall, and I think that wall snatching out and grabbing your car is something that we're going to look for all evening long. It's almost like you get magneted to the wall itself, and you have to slow down so much to get it off. Qualifying being completed at this moment. The invert will be that of 9. It looks like Christian Peterson jumps up into that 9th spot ahead of Matt Urban. So Christian Peterson looks to get your pole after the invert. Your natural pole sitter will be the 024 of Cody Dempster. Dempster he was having a pretty good run at 5 flags before he got taken out in an incident. It relegated him down to a 20th place finish. And so he'll look to rebound from that here today. Another driver looking to rebound is Corey Bodie. Bodie, I mean, he was absolutely dominant at 5 flags, but through some restarts and tire strategy, he also got caught up in an incident. He was able to recover to a 7th place finish, Sky, but I think he was definitely one that absolutely could have won that race.
Yeah, Corey Bodie, one of a couple drivers in the field with a lot of speed in these super late models. There are a couple drivers out here who are kind of road course ringers. Guys like Aaron Johnson as well, who we know have a lot of pace in these cars and who are always week in, week out going to be front runners in this series. We've got a good field tonight. Looks like 23 cars are in session for tonight's race.
So we're waiting on the warm-up right now. Drivers getting to have that time to warm up here. I want to know, Sky, who are you looking at? I think about this track. I think about IRP, and I try to think of what it's similar to. I haven't quite come up with an answer for you yet. It's almost, I don't know. With the 12 degrees of banking, it's almost like if you shrunk down New Hampshire just a little bit. That's what first comes to my mind. But with that in mind, tell me if you agree or don't agree, but who might you be thinking might be a driver to look out for here this evening?
I think this track is pretty unique. It's a pretty unique length as well. It's about 7/10 of a mile. You don't see a lot like it. Maybe I would say kind of a narrower, more conventional version of Richmond out here. Kind of I guess you could say a hometown gritty version of Richmond. I think you've got to watch out for the obvious contenders. Guys like Corey Bodie, Aaron Johnson, who have so much speed in this car, in this race. We're going to get a new winner here because Deegan Smith is not in the field tonight. Neither is Tanner Bethea, your 2nd place finisher last race. So you might have to watch out for your 3rd place finisher, William Hale, as well.
Yeah, William Hale does have a lot of testing time here in this super late model on iRacing. Corey said to us that he had even Aaron and Hale were some that he felt might have had even more experience than him, and we saw how the 3 of them were running at the end of that race at 5 flags. So we'll get the grid up here to you, and remember, until we get to 9th place, the drivers will be switched. So Cody Dempster will start in 9th, Corey Bodie will start in 8th, and then moving backwards now, up in 7th will be Aaron Johnson. Jake Grout will be in 6th. Continuing to move on backwards in 5th, it will be Alex K. Grates, and then in 4th, it'll be the one of Michael Weissman. Then in 3rd position, it'll be Justin Crow in the 86, and in 2nd, the 62 of William Hale. And starting on provisional pole, it will be the 71 of Christian Peterson, and we resume normal order, and in 10th, it'll be the 48 of Matt Urban.
11th place will be Tim Weinkoff in that 54 car, but he is getting an EOL. Brandon Elvis will roll off 12th in the 4. Grant Brown starts 13th in the 14. John Lede starts 14th in the 22. Dylan Delaney, 15th tonight, in the 88 car. Aiden Grates also with an EOL, 16th in the 27. Matthew Knott rolls off 17th in the 82. Frank Barbary, 18th in the 26. And rounding out your field tonight, we've got Tristan Thies in the 89, Victor Pfluger in the 18, Aaron Harden in the 85. I believe Kyle Adams will be our race control tonight. And then last car on the field will be Hudson Geiger in the 10.
So Geiger not having to worry about that EOL. He had that qualifying position last in 23rd, but others will have to move on towards the rear. So we will go under the lights here this evening at IRP, and man, I am excited for this. Yeah, I think I say that every broadcast, Sky, that how excited I am, and it's true. Race analysis here this evening, 150 laps around this almost 7/10 of a mile oval, pit road speed 40 miles an hour. We'll have 2 sets of tires available. Imagine drivers will probably, if we go naturally as few cautions as possible, maybe they'll shake that at 75. Some drivers might try to take the 2 pit stop strategy. Of course, as always, this is an open setup league, so setups do matter here. And always like and subscribe here at VSPEED as well as Misfit Productions. So, round 2 just crossed over 2,000 subscribers here at VSPEED, so we continue to go above and beyond here to give you the best of the best in iRacing commentary. Pace Truck will pull off of pit road and we will get pacing and get on ready. But Sky, what are you thinking? I know we just had some initial thoughts, but what else you got for me?
I think you should definitely like and subscribe to VSPEED as we get going here. And also check out our sponsor, once again, Nautical Marine, our sponsor for tonight's race. You got Matthew Knott kind of repping that sponsor there in that 82 car for tonight's race. He'll roll off back in 17th at the moment. We're going to get these pace laps going. It'll be 3 laps to green here. It's a short track, so the drivers need a little bit of time to get out of the pits, warm up the tires, and do that invert. With the invert, Christian Peterson will go to the front, and I think that'll make him a car to watch. Peterson, no matter what car we're in, no matter what track we're in the Misfit Racing League, is always, always, always fast. The Hyper Summer Series is no different. He's going to have a lot of speed here. Watch out for William Hale, last week's 3rd place finisher on the outside.
Yeah, William Hale is definitely one that I am looking at starting on that outside row in the number 62 car. So it looks like the Pace Truck lights are off. Let's see if we'll get the Pace Truck in this time to get the green flag out and ready. But Peterson, like you said, always a threat up front. He was so great in the touring series in the late model, but this is the super, and I found, you know, he had a little bit of trouble at 5 flags last time, Scott.
He did. You've got to run consistent races if you want to win the championship in this series, and these drivers are going to want to run up front week after week if they are going to get this done. The pace car will take us on to the back stretch now for the final time around before these cars get set loose for 150 at IRP.
As Sky mentioned it earlier, these drivers always set up their cars very loose at the start of the run as the car continues to build loose. How will drivers be able to handle that here this evening, and who will be able to handle it the best? It's round 2 of the Hyper Summer Series here at Misfit Racing Leagues. It's the Nautical 150. We're green and away into turn number 1. Side by side for a moment, but the yellow flag is already out. Huge crash into turn number 1. It's already the 89 of Tristan Thiesse, Aaron Harden involved, Dylan Delaney in the 88 looks to be involved as well, but that's a 5-car pileup, not even on to lap 1.
That was a massive hit for Dylan Delaney. We're going to get a drivertees.com replay of the stack up that led to this incident. Looking a little further back in the field, that car with the written out number 88 on it is Delaney. He's going to have to check up. Everybody stacks up, and it's a huge hit into the outside wall with Frank Barbary there.
Oh, man, Barbary gets a big time piece of that damage. Hudson Geiger, who started all the way back in 23rd, is also going to get some big damage. Let's ride along here with the 89 of Tristan Thiesse. You can see right here, yep, just a big stack up, and Michael Knott, one of the family sponsors here of the Nautical Marine 150, gets involved in that as well. Matt Urban, who started near the back for whatever reason he deemed to be, was able to get away from that, but you can see a lot of damage, and that spoiler really important here in super late model racing, Sky, because you need all of that downforce through the corners that you can get. But I can't say I expected that this early to have what that was, but you know, that's the domino effect that we can see. Sometimes a driver might spin the tires on the restart or might have a moment into turn 1, and that checkup can really just domino towards the rear.
And unlike the main season here in the Misfit Racing League, we don't have a faster pair tonight. These drivers in the Summer Series are going to have to fix this damage on pit road in real time, which is going to lead to some problems. Dylan Delaney has already gone 2 laps down, and he is saying he is done for the race. So that'll be the end of the 88 before he even made it to turn 1 tonight. Not how he wanted that race to go.
Yeah, and he had a top 10 at 5 flags, so he was going off of a decent run, but he's going to have a lot of work to do to get back into any sort of call to maybe even finish in the top 10 in points here in the Hyper Summer Series. So he's definitely going to have some work to do when we move on to Oxford Plains next race out. So we'll gather them back up 2 by 2. Up front, it's pretty much the same as we saw fit, but these drivers choosing a little bit differently, deciding where they would like to go. Looks like Justin Crowe will choose up towards the outside this time. Michael Weissman will be on the inside in the 1. Pace truck will pull off yet again. Let's see if we can get a little bit cleaner and greener this time around. We'll complete lap number 5 here on to number 6. It is still Peterson and William Hale making up row number 1 through the restart zone. Green flag back out here in the nautical green 150.
You're already seeing some cars have problems on that restart. A couple cars further back scraping the fence, and a couple drivers pretty loose as well. Caution flies already. Is it Tristan Thies around at the back of the field? He is missing his rear bumper, so it looks like it.
Yeah, the SA looks like a solo spin. I've got to call him in a few other leagues. He's run, yeah, it looks like he just has no downforce into the entry there, just loses the rear, and that's because he has no spoiler. You know, that's a tough one. You just got to know what your damage is. You got to be asking other drivers, how does the car look? What do I have? We'll ride along here with the SA and into 1. Yeah, just overdrive the corner, drives it like you normally would, but again, Sky, with no spoiler there on the drivertees.com replay here, Tristan Thies goes for a spin.
That he does. Tristan is going to be in trouble there, and he is going to have to come down and fix that damage and lose at least 1 lap, potentially more, for that 89 car. We're going to look to get some green flag laps in up front here. We're going to look to get a green flag run, a green flag lap in up front here. Haven't managed that this race, which means those inverted cars of Christian Peterson, William Hale, Michael Weissman, Justin Crowe are also holding steady up in the top 4 for now.
Well, and the spot of drivers I'd be really concerned about for just anyone in this field is 6th to 9th. Aaron Johnson, Corey Bodie, Cody Dempster, and Grant Brown. I mean, that is a great handful of drivers right there. Obviously, Bodie and Brown, I mean, we've seen Brown and them both race in many races throughout the years in the Touring Series. And then, of course, Dempster, we got to see him a good bit here in the Touring Series. And what Bodie has told us about Aaron Johnson, I mean, those are drivers that if I was up front, if I was Jake Grout, Justin Crowe, Michael Weissman, I would absolutely want to keep them back behind me, because the minute they get away from you, I would say they are out on their own.
They are. We're going to see Michael Weissman promoted to the, or excuse me, we're not going to see him promoted to the front row. My iRacing ticker is lying to me at the current moment. Michael Weissman will stay 3rd. He was scored ahead of William Hale last time around. He will not actually be ahead of William Hale at the current moment. These drivers will make their way to the 1 to go mark on this pace car. Everybody is in position and is ready to go. It'll be the same group up front: Peterson, Hale, Weissman, Crowe. Qualified 6th through 9th, got that invert. They're now up front. Back from them, it's Grout, Johnson, Bodie, and Dempster as well. Started 1 through 4, running 5 through 6. All these cars trying to overcome that invert, but they haven't gotten time to do it with the constant yellows.
Constant yellows. Kyle Adams coming over the radio saying, let's get some green flag action in, Sky.
We are certainly going to want some green flag action here tonight as we get rolling out of turn 4. Peterson will take him to the green flag. Good jump for both him and Hale. They're clear of 3rd.
Did you see Weissman got into the back of Peterson? Peterson going to slip right in front of the 62 of Hale, but Hale going to slide the crossover out of turn 2, side by side. Hale on the inside, Peterson on the outside. Peterson using that high line to carry momentum, give the drive off, but Hale still hanging all the way in. All the while, Jake Rout having a big moment, and he spins the 78. The 78 of Aaron Johnson going around in one. Caution flies.
78 car backwards there in turn 2, and a couple cars having to take some pretty serious evasive action in order to avoid that car. We'll get a drivertees.com replay right now. 3 wide for a second. Ooh, that car was slow going down into the corner, and the 78 caught some major air. Couple other cars also taking some pretty heavy damage in that one. Gonna take a look back and see who that was. It was Jake Rout who got into Johnson, maybe off a little bit of net code there. And then you saw the 24 machine, Cody Dempster, take some pretty good damage in that, along with Alex Grates. And
oh my goodness.
48 as well of Matt Urban.
Oh my goodness. I mean, that went from a possibly a two car incident to about a 7-car incident. Getting some damage there. We'll ride along here with that 78 and see what was going on. We're actually riding back further along in the line. Oh my goodness. That is a lot of cars torn up. The 26 going to get more damage. Frank Barbary really can't miss it all evening long.
It has been a race of attrition over the first few laps of this race, and if you're one of these cars who is at the back, who started towards the back of the field like Frank Barbary, not only have you had no time to move up the field, but also all the incidents have been happening right next to you, so you haven't really been able to dodge any of them, so you're just kind of playing bumper cars out there. You get about 1 lap and then suddenly you're getting doored. In that brief green flag run, we had some great battling for the lead, but we need a longer green flag run to actually get that battle sorted out.
Well, and this is really interesting, Sky, because this is almost the opposite of what we saw from Five Flag Speedway. I mean, I don't think we saw our first string of cautions until after lap 100. I think that's when we got a few string of cautions. We got about 3 in a row and then maybe one last one. But here early, Kyle Adams talking about right now possibly doing single file restarts if we cannot get a handle on this. But this is very different, and I think this is what we talked about, Sky, earlier in this track being so unique in its own right. So these drivers just trying to figure out how they need to go, but I was really surprised there from seeing what we saw from Jake Rout of trying to re-enter. It just looked like he just didn't quite see the 78.
Yeah, he was slow on the inside of the track there, had some problems working out of 4 and just didn't really make the turn the way he wanted. I've seen some cars mention this, a couple blinking issues going on for Michael Wiseman in that one. You saw him dip out of the session there. Gonna need to watch out for that here over the course of this run if that one continues to have issues.
So hopefully everyone can get internet settled and connected. I know that problem, and it's occurred to me quite a lot. The front row will remain the same as the start. I think that is the only row still the same after our string of 3 cautions, 16 laps complete, most of them under caution. Green flag back out for Christian Peterson, who barely held the lead over William Hale the last time through. Hale now on the high side. Can he carry that momentum like Peterson did the last time? Still side by side, entering into 3. Off the gas, fire shoots out the pipes, but here we're going to see the crossover similar to what we saw last time, but William Hale gets loose.
He's not going to have that run. He'll try it again, peeking down to that inside into 1, but he doesn't have anything for Peterson, who holds that lead steady and firm up at the front of the field. Corey Bodie runs 3rd at the moment. He's trying to drive back up through the pack as Wiseman and Grant Brown are going to get in a battle for this 4th position. It's Wiseman further up the track here, or excuse me, it's Wiseman on the bottom. Or actually, I'm completely wrong. This is Grant Brown and Justin Crowe. I was wondering why there wasn't a 1 car in this battle. That is the 14 and the 86, and we're going to get a little bit of contact off into 3. Grant Brown will hold on. Caution waves. Tim Weinkoff is totaled.
Tim Weinkoff, huge damage in the 54, and he's already brought it back to the pits. Brandon Elvis was the driver that he was battling. Let's take a look back at the drivertees.com replay, and oh my goodness, an absolutely huge hit. And oh my goodness, it all started from a wiggle from the 4 of Brandon Elvis. You'll watch it out of turn number 2 here, and that is the 61 of Jake Grout there on the outside. You're going to see the 4 get loose, gets a tag from the 61, and that gets into the 54 of Tim Weinkoff. And Weinkoff hard into the inside wall, entering turn number 3.
And that's just a pure concrete wall down there. So if you hit that thing, it is gonna be a huge impact. No matter what speed you hit it at, no matter where you hit it at. You saw it right there. Just that tap is enough to completely total that car and send him flying all the way back up onto the racetrack with the momentum.
And it's really unfortunate that Jake Grout was involved in that, because just looking at it briefly, it looked as much as a racing incident as it could be. Brandon Elvis fighting hard on the inside, gets loose out of turn number 2, and you know, Jake Grout fighting hard as well right on the outside, trying to leave as little room as possible, and they make contact, and 54 of Tim Weinkoff is the innocent bystander in all that. And sadly, how it normally works out is the innocent bystander normally gets the heaviest hit of an incident like that. We've seen a great battle up front between Peterson and Hale. Elvis and Weinkoff both meatballed, so they will be most likely done here. Absolutely, I believe Weinkoff is done. Brandon Elvis might be able to get out there, might be able to make some laps, but he definitely will not be competing or anywhere near the win here in this race. So Sky, Corey Bodie been the biggest mover so far up towards the front, and we'll look at that, and we'll look at a driver cam here with Bodie, and I think we might be looking at single file restarts here.
Yes, we will be seeing single file restarts here until we can get some green flag runs in. We are moving these restarts to single file. Corey Bodie qualified up in second with the 9-car invert. He dropped back to P8, but he has got it rolling. Driven that car from 8th up to 3rd, past Michael Wiseman, who started well ahead of him. Another big mover in this field will be Grant Brown, up 13 to 5. Didn't even make the invert. He's running in the top 5. But Bodie, always a threat to win these super late model races. Let's see if he gets it done here again.
Another thing to note here for these drivers, Cody Dempster is down a plentiful handful of laps. So a driver that we definitely would have thought been battling for the win here this evening will not get to battle. Bit of a stack up on the restart, but green flag is back out. Peterson is away with the single file restarts. William Hale looking for the inside. The caution is out again. An absolute pile up in turn number 1. The 22 of John Leday involved. The 85 of Aaron Harden. Everyone looks to be able to drive away, but that did look like a massacre.
Yeah, John Leday got a meatball, and I am not surprised given the amount of air that he caught in that accident. I think he had all 4 wheels off the ground at one point, kind of bouncing on his side. You're going to see this start right here. It kind of starts with Grant Brown. Yep, just gets the rear end lifted up by the 86, and that is what triggers this huge pile up. And there goes John Leday.
Well, and I've learned something recently. Actually, I don't know how long ago it was, but when the wheel goes static like that, that means that the wheel is absolutely broken. So something is completely disconnected with any of the front 2 wheels. And so that static steering means that something is very, very much broken, Sky, which I think anyone could have guessed by watching the in-car view there and not knowing that information. But if you wanted to know, that's another little tell. Not that you couldn't anyway.
We'll get that replay here. There's the first part of the wreck, and then, yeah, it just starts up front there. You've got a couple cars taking major hits. Grant Brown is, for his part in this, escapes pretty unscathed. He might be the only one who escaped unscathed, though.
So here's what we're saying. I think the biggest problem here is spinning the tires on the restarts. That is creating these stack-ups, these domino effects, and drivers just don't know that it's coming. You know, you're starting so close to the car right in front of you that when that stack-up happens, there is no time to react. So I think if these drivers can continue to get a feeling, go easy on these restarts and not spin the tires, we'll see cleaner restarts and be able to get single filed out and get some good green flag laps turned in. But until that time, if we continue to see these tire spins, then we'll Sky inevitably continue to see these stack ups.
That we will the restarts are just the problems. We haven't been able to run more than a couple laps green, and I think if we could run more than a couple laps green, we'd make a run out of it, but we just haven't been able to get to that point yet. Already have 4 confirmed DNFs: John Leday, Frank Barbary, Brandon Elvis, and Dylan Delaney, all out of the session. Count that 5. As I was saying, that Tim Weinkoff has left as well. Cody Dempster, a threat for the championship in this series, is 16 laps down, still on pit road, but he's been there for 10 minutes and he's likely done. So from a field of 22, we are down to 16, and it'll be Christian Peterson leading them off once again here on this single file restart. It'll be Peterson, Hale, and Corey Bodie will try to move his way up through the field. Green flag drops for Christian Peterson.
As you can see, a lot of drivers there leaving a lot of space in between the cars, about 2 to 3 car lengths per car right there. We get away clean through turns 1 and turn 2, but about that 2 to 3 car gap between all the cars. Admin talked about doing that this restart to just get away from each other, at least for the moment being. We obviously want to see them fight, but Christian Peterson will run up towards the front, and it's William Hale, Corey Bodie, Michael Weissman, Justin Crow, the top 5 as they run. The closest battle on track right now is Grant Brown hunting down the 86 of Crow. That is for the last spot in the top 5.
By the way, we got some questions in the chat. Oh, we'll get to those in a second. Big loose moment coming off the back of the field there. Gonna mention we got some questions in the chat on where you can join this league. That would be joinmrl.com to enter into the Misfit Racing League. Here, I believe our registration for the Hyper Summer Series is closed, but they're always running races, and they'd be happy to have you in another series if you are so inclined. As battles continue along the racetrack, like this one for 11th, you've got Aaron Johnson in this, Victor Fluger in this, and Aiden Grates trying to slide his way up through the field. You're seeing these cars run pretty loose at the moment, angled pretty sharply through some of these corners.
Justin Crow passes Michael Weissman for 4th position. Grant Brown right on the back of the 1, so the 1 might lose a 2-for-1 in the past 2 laps. And yes, Grant Brown will have it, so Weissman falls back into 6th. The Crow is up to 4th, the Grant Brown is up to 5th. And remember, those cars, some of them, like Justin Crow, got an advantage from the invert, and Grant Brown was moved back because of the invert. More close battles on the racetrack. The 61 of Jake Grout here towards the rear of Matt Urban. Matt Urban very close to this 82 of Michael Knott. What about that? Michael Knott getting involved in the lap 1 incident. Well, he's back out and running in 7th.
Done a good job to lock that car down, move back up the field, especially since he started out back in 17th. He's part of the sponsor for this race, the Nautical Marine 150. He's getting it done so far. A little bit of a home field advantage, although he is under threat from that 61 car of Jake Grout. He's had some bad restarts, but he's still running up here towards the front of the field, way loose off the corner. That'll give the spot back. For now, Grout will run him up the road a little bit down into 1. We'll see who takes the advantage. Working out of the corner, it is Jake Grout. He is clear for P7.
Man, Grout is really, he has such good roll speed through the center of the corner. Matt Urban having a great roll there through 3 and 4. He'll move up in front of Michael Knott. So Knott is down now to 9th, but still running in the top 10. And that's something that we're looking for here tonight on these green flag runs, is that center speed. It's so easy to get tight. If you're able to roll the center, you can roll off of the exit and continue to carry that. The 18 of Victor Fluger washing up high right there. Battle for the lead is on. William Hale has been hunting down the 71 of Peterson. And guess who's right behind them both? It's Corey Bodie.
I'm loving the slip angle on these cars. We're dooring each other up here for the lead of the race. William Hale, is he clear? No, Christian Peterson holds that spot there on the outside lane. Hale continues to hold the lead as we come up on the lap car of Alex Grates. He will pull out of the way and will stay battling up front. The 62, 3rd place finisher last week, leading laps here tonight, but Peterson is always a threat to win, and Bodie is charging. Lap 40 now in this race. We got a great battle up front.
William Hale, third place at Five Flags Speedway, and he said that he wanted just a little bit more. He was searching for more. What driver isn't searching for more when you're not in victory lane? But Corey Bodie right behind as well. Got to be another one of those threats, but he has always been slow and methodical. We saw the battle between him and the 78 of Hardin at Five Flags, that Bodie was so just right there. I mean, he was so patient. He did everything that he needed, got involved in incident, but we saw when he was behind the 78 of Hardin that he was slow and methodical about everything that he needed to do. This is still the battle for the lead. It's Hale, Peterson, and Bodie. Back behind them, it's Crow and Grant Brown rounding out the top 5, but we're going to stay right here just the moment to see if any more develops from this. And like we said, Sky, Bodie is right there.
Peterson's running a little lower into these corners, trying to make time. Bodie, oh, a little loose there on exit, but he keeps it straight, keeps it saved. He's still lurking right behind these two cars. He's got one lap led, but he would like to get plenty more as that 62 continues to rack up the laps led up at the front of the field. Christian Peterson still in pursuit, still trying to find a way around that 62 car, but he's going to need to get a little closer if he wants to set up some kind of crossover move to get it done. Peterson is really diving it into one, kind of diamonding the corner through that middle lane, entering lower than Hale and then sliding up higher mid-corner, and it really does not look like it's working for him in 1 and 2. It's decent in 3 and 4, but he might need to try something else going into 1 if he wants to not only get the lead, but hold off Crow. Hold off Bodie, excuse me. We got more lap traffic, and now Bodie's going to take advantage of that, shoot him to the outside, and Corey Bodie is P2.
Bodie took it to the high side, was tired of searching for the low line, and slingshotted it around on the top. Bodie up to P2, and that's something I was just about to mention, Sky. When you enter 1 or 3 so low like that, you get tight in the center. Takes away that roll speed that we talked about being so important. And so through that roll speed being not being there, Bodie was able to take it to the high side and roll right around through the center of 1 and 2. Now he sets his sight ahead. Look back here with the battle between Crow and Brown. Brown has been slowly lurking on the rear bumper of the 86. This is the battle we saw earlier before they got around the one of Michael Weissman. But Brown has closed in slowly, but not by much. Maybe a few hundredths at a time, but not anything massive between those last two drivers within the top 5. That is your closest battle on track besides the lead.
That it is. We got tight racing pretty much all over here. A lot of it concentrated towards the front of the field, though, as Bodie has continued to close in on that 62 car of William Hale. That gap down under 1.5 tenths of a second. He is running right on the bumper of Hale, leaving almost no space between his front bumper and the rear bumper of Hale. I don't think it'll be long before Bodie tries to set up a move here to get the run down the straightaway and clear, or at least get side by side with that 62 car as we take lap 50. Corey Bodie has speed. He's trying to charge to the front.
1/3 of the way through the Nautical Marine 150 here in the Hyper Summer Series. It's round 2 at IRP. William Hale leading from Corey Bodie and Christian Peterson. That is the 0 of Alex K. Greats. They're getting past that time. So let's see, about only 13 cars left on lead lap so far. So we've got this great green flag run, and through this green flag run, we've really been able to see who those drivers are that have been able to get up to the front. Aaron Hardin, that last driver on the lead lap, and Hardin, one of those guys that we said was so good in this super late model. He finished 8th in the last race at Five Flags, but it got involved in that incident with John Leday on the big stack up from Grant Brown, and because of that lost that spoiler, and it's put him back 13th in the running order.
And it's not been a good few races for Aaron Johnson. Finished 19th after an accident a couple weeks ago at Five Flags, and he'll finish 16th tonight after an accident that took him out of the race here. He needs a clean race if he is to contend for this championship, but he's 0 for 2 on that, and that has put him in trouble.
Well, and that's going to be the tough part, Sky, because we said it. The Hyper Summer Series is half the length of the regular Touring Series, so each race is 2 times more important than a regular race would be in the Misfit Touring Series. So here in the Hyper Summer Series, each race is so much more important than a regular season race within the normal Touring Series that we run November through March. So Hale leading by just over 0.2 of a second from the 44 of Bodie. It's still Peterson running about a second back from the leader in third. Crow and Brown still fairly close together, about 0.2 of a second between them two. And then it is a big gap back to Grout, 1.5 seconds. So a lot of this field, this is the spreading out that we were looking at for and that we were talking about, that we could get 7th Michael Weissman, then back in 8th, 4 seconds back, it's Matt Urban. Matthew Knott still back there in 9th, and Victor Pfluger rounds out the top 10 as of this moment.
Yeah, last car on the lead lap there is the 10 of Hudson Geiger. Back up to that battle for the lead. A couple weeks ago, after that race at Five Flags, Corey Bodie told us there were 2 drivers in the field who had more seat time in a late model than him and who he considered threats to win. One of those drivers was Aaron Johnson. He's not had a good start to the season. The other was William Hale, current race leader, running ahead of Corey Bodie. Both of these drivers know the other one is an incredible driver in these super lates. Hale maybe has the seat time advantage over that 44 car, but we'll see if that translates into a more consistent pace advantage and a win tonight in the Nautical Marine 150 here for the Hyper Summer Series. William Hale now over 20 laps led out front.
I think Hale and Bodie are both going to give us an experience to watch here throughout the rest of this race in the Nautical Marine 150. 2 very experienced drivers, and another experienced driver that we haven't yet mentioned, and we haven't yet mentioned him because he's not here, is your current points leader of Deegan Smith. He did not queue up for the race here this evening, so that means that no matter what happens tonight, we will have a new championship leader.
Yeah, we'll have a new championship leader. We'll have a new...
But they also not here either.
Yep, new first-time winner, new second-place finisher as well here in this race. As we're navigating some lap traffic up here at the front of the field, that is once again the limping Alex Great's car. That's about 3 seconds off pace. They're coming up on Hudson Geiger in the 10. 11th place, last car on the lead lap, and he'll move down to the apron so the leaders can get by him cleanly. Hale and Bodie continue to battle as we slowly approach halfway here tonight.
Well, once we were able to get going, we were able to get on close. Grant Brown looking for the move, and yes, he'll make the move now. Lap car of Alex Great's going to get in the way a little bit, but Justin Crow not going to think anything of it. He's going to hang down on the low side, try to push up, but I think Grant Brown, and he will have the run. Oh, man, that was close right through the center of 3 and 4. Crow almost got to the back bumper of Brown, but was not able to get there. He might have thought about making the move, try to get him loose through the center, but he wasn't able to get right under his bodywork. So Grant Brown up to 4th, Justin Crow down into 5th, and it is now only the top 10 on the lead lap so far, and Victor Pfluger about 6 seconds away from going a lap down, so there's a significant buffer between him and William Hale, but I didn't think we would have been saying 64 laps into this race after a ton of cautions that only 10 cars would be on the lead lap.
No, but that is how dominant William Hale and Corey Bodie have been over the rest of the field. I want to shout out some of our big movers tonight, like Grant Brown, who we just saw make that pass. He's gone 13-4. +9 over the course of this race. Also up big are the last 2 on the lead lap. Matthew Knott has gone 17-9. Victor Pfluger as well has gone 20-10. The other big mover tonight is that car that just got lapped. Hudson Geiger started dead last tonight. He's got that car rolling in 11th, so pretty good recovery from a bad qualifying from that 10 car. He's looking to get himself a pretty nice finish here tonight after a race that did not go his way at all at Five Flags.
Well, and that's the thing. Geiger has got some significant damage. He's running about 0.5 of a second off of the pace, but yet being able to stay in it, continue running laps, he's put himself up into 11th. And like you said, after that poor qualifying effort and the EOL that he would have eventually gotten, he's been able to stay in the game, and you never know what could happen. He could maybe get a top 10 at the end of the evening for the 10 of Hudson Geiger. So the gap has grown back up front towards the lead between William Hale and Corey Bodie. It's just under 0.3 of a second at this moment. Christian Peterson has plummeted back from these two leaders. He's 2.9 seconds back from them now. So Grant Brown going to be able to advance on the 71. He might look for a podium.
And one thing to note on lap times here is that the tire wear has started to kick in more than it does in some other races here. We've only had about 40 laps under green with all those cautions, but in that time, lap times have fallen anywhere from 0.5 second to 0.8 of a second, depending on the car. Grant Brown, for example, has only fallen off 0.5 second, whereas Christian Peterson in the 71 has used it up completely, dropped back about 0.9 a lap here. That 71 is going to get passed soon as he has really used up the tires. He's going to be looking forward to a caution here to get those tires, or to get new tires on that 71 car. You got one set in the pits, and I reckon we get a caution, pretty much everyone in the field is going to come down and take them.
Well, they actually have two sets, Sky, but I imagine we'll only get time to use one. And whoa! Big time loose out of turn 4 for the 71, and that opens a door for these two to jockey for position. This is the battle for third, the last step on the podium. 71 of Peterson going to swing it on the high side. He's going to have contact. He right rears Brown into the wall. 86 of Crow gets in it as well, and there we go. Caution back out just before we get to halfway, and Grant Brown is frustrated. It's not even the word.
Well, Peterson needed a caution. I do not think that is the variety of caution that he would have wanted, as Grant Brown is very clearly upset. We're going to get a drivertees.com replay, and that is going to be major damage for the 14 of Grant Brown, the 71 of Christian Peterson, and the 86 of Justin Crow. All front runners in this race. You'll see it here down into the corner. Ooh, 14 up the track a little bit there. 71 tried to move down, and you get a big hit.
Yeah, and I got to wonder, you know, you look back at it, and you got to wonder if the 14 started to come up there in the corner. He did a little bit. We go back and assess it, but not too much movement. And I got to wonder if the 71 of Peterson maybe thought the 14 would go lower, because it looks like Grant Brown really wanted to run the middle rather than the bottom. Yeah, I don't know. That is really tough. It's very tough to make a definitive call about what truly happened and transpired between those cars, but oh my goodness, that is 3 of some of your fastest cars. Besides your 2 leaders, those were your 3 other fastest cars here this evening. We'll watch along with the 86 of Justin Crow, who was just another innocent bystander in this incident. Watch along with him as we ride along from the cockpit view. You can see him, oh my goodness, and nowhere to go. I mean, he had no idea where the 14 of Grant Brown would end up, and he's going to have some big damage as well.
We've got some pit stops here up the field. Corey Bodie has come in. He was running in second. He will take 2 right side tires on that car, come out in 4th. We also had Jake Grout come in for 2 rights, and Matt Urban came in for a full set of 4 tires on that stop. Justin Crow has disconnected from the session, so that'll be another casualty here tonight. And I don't think Grant Brown is in the car either, so he might be almost done for the night. This is really a race of attrition right now in the Nautical Marine 150. You have to be on the track if you want to get a chance to win, and that is what William Hale is doing.
I'm really surprised at the call from William Hale to stay out, because here's the thing. I think track position is important. You've got to imagine the rest of the field might have pitted, but it's really smart of Corey Bodie to do what a lot of drivers say. If you haven't been able to gain, we'll do the opposite of the leader. And so Bodie will start on the outside row of row number 2. Michael Weissman will be up in second. It'll be Matthew Knott there running in third. William Hale, a good jump from the inside, and will get a quick yellow from the rear of the field. Not sure what started this, though.
I am not either. I don't see anyone around immediately.
I see Geiger that's down a lap, and he wasn't just a moment ago. Because I was just about to point out that Geiger had moved up into 7th. But
we had a lot of cars down a lap. I think it was some pit stops there with Urban, Geiger, and Aiden Grates.
Yeah, the 10 was on pit road. You know, I am not sure what brought this out.
Maybe the halfway break, a couple laps late. I'm not sure.
No. Everything looked clean.
We've shortened the yellow here, so we are going to go back green.
I think it might have been
around.
I think it might have been an accidental caution.
Potentially.
Yep. I think that's what Kyle Adams admin just said. I think it was a misclick on the caution.
All right, so we'll go back green this time here. Everybody's re-racked. It'll still be William Hale, Michael Wiseman on the front row. It'll still be Matthew Knott and Corey Bodie back there, 3rd and 4th. We're going to make our way around here through turns 3 and 4 for Wiseman and Hale, and they're almost doored each other before we even take the green. The green flag is out. Good jump for Hale.
Great jump for Hale. Another time from the lead. He's got to get away. He is on old tires here. Corey Bodie gonna muscle on those fresh new tires, muscles his way down into 3rd. Now he'll look for 2nd on the one of Michael Weissman. He'll try to roll on through here on the bottom lane. Still not clear yet this time. Down into 1, still right in the middle, pushes up the 1. Weissman gonna fall down into 3rd. That's Corey Bodie. Now back up into 2nd where he was before we got the caution, where he was before we had the pit stops.
Those 2 right side tires taking on the 44 car might be giving him a little bit of a speed advantage here. We'll see if he can use those to catch and pass the 62 of William Hale here on this run. But the 62 with that caution has had a chance for his tires to cool down. We'll see if he can get some more speed out of them as we got a battle for 3rd on track.
60. Oh, and oh my goodness, big time sideways for Jake Grout. He also took right side tires only, and he's able to muscle those and show them off on the one of Michael Weissman and sweep on by him on the bottom lane. I think he might have heated up that right rear there, getting sideways out of turn 4. But this is that big cycle up that we got because of that incident with your early leaders of Brown and Peterson and Crow. We got all these drivers that are able to get up here and fight in the top 5, like Weissman, Knott, Victor Pfluger, and Aiden Grates. Battle still on here for the lead between Bodie and Hale. And I think that tire advantage is being flexed. That's the word I've been looking for. There we go.
Flexed?
Yup.
There you go.
Bodie is trying to flex on him.
He is flexing those tires. So is Jake Grout, who also came down for 2 and has driven that thing up to 3rd. It's crazy enough as, oh, there goes Bodie right through for the lead on William Hale. You look away for half a second, and there he goes straight up the inside. That 44 car is gone. I was going to mention, we only got 6 cars on the lead lap, but what's even crazier is we only got 10 cars less than 7 laps down right now. This is all about consistency. It's all about dodging the accidents. It's all about staying on track. And if you're on track, if you're running laps, you're probably going to get a pretty good finish out of this.
Well, and again, just very different from what we saw when we were over at Five Flags, when we were down in Pensacola. Again, we saw through most of the first portion of the race, we were pretty clean, very few accidents. We saw some other accidents throughout the race, but nothing to the degree that we saw tonight. We'll look at from the eye of the drivers here. This is the driver cam for Corey Bodie. He is very, very focused. He's running in his Corey Bodie hat, and I believe that is the Corey Bodie Wraps hat. So he's running in that, repping his company, trying to get some wraps done in the iRacing world. And he is trying to flex on them all here tonight at IRP.
That he is. We're looking down here a little further back. This is the battle for third as Jake Grout continues to get some time on that rubber, and William Hale continues to drop back, maybe on the disadvantage of a bad pit stop or a bad pit strategy here to not take 2 tires on that car like Bodie and Grout did. Hale, he's going to need to get a little more speed as the 61 looks high off the corner. Will try to drop it low for the crossover. Doesn't get it yet, but he is absolutely there as we have under 60 to go.
Much faster with those 2 fresh right side tires for the 61 of Jake Grout. And you really got to wonder what the decision making came from for the 62 of Hale. Is Grout going to try to swing to the high side, going to stay there? It stays away from the wall, getting dicey here for the battle for second between Grout and Hale. Grout still trying to carry momentum on the high side, but Hale able to hold him off on the inside, pushes up high here in the center, then gets a great drive off. Not as good this time through 3 and 4, but still able to pull even, now a nose ahead.
Hale, or excuse me, Grout is really, really working that high line all the way up on the wall and maybe using it a little too much. Gets into the fence there and then gets into Hale down the back straightaway, but we stay clean going through 3 and 4 there. Never mind, we get some contact. Grout back into the wall, Hale back loose, and somehow we go into the corner like it never happened, but Grout is wrecking loose in 1 into the wall. He's going to almost try to tee up a run to the inside here, but he doesn't have enough yet. He's going to have to regroup and cool down those tires if he wants to make the move.
You saw how deep Grout sent it there into 1, and that was some great hard racing and some great defending from the 62 of William Hale. He knows that Grout is faster, knows that he has those fresh tires, but he has to do everything he can to hold this second place. If he finished in third, it'd be back-to-back third places. All the while, Jake Grout looking for a better finish from the last time. He finished in 6th at 5 flags, so a pretty good finish, but you know that Grout always wants to be in contention for the win here this evening. While we've been watching this battle this entire time, Corey Bodie has gotten out to a more than a second and a half lead over these 2 battling for second.
Those tires have really proved to be the advantage that we thought they might be for Bodie. Apple's gotten him out, and Grout is into the wall here again, back down the straightaway. He is really having some problems now. I think he's likely overheated those fresh tires. He needs to take a second, get him cooled down here, and then try to recharge for this battle, because if he just keeps chasing Hale around the racetrack at full strength, he's going to burn him up, and then give it about 10 laps. He's going to have no shot at getting around him.
Well, and here's the thing. You and I know this very well about Jake Grout. He is a definitely aggressive driver, but there's some times where it's a little too aggressive, where he gets, I think he drives with a little bit more emotion and can overdrive the car. And you can see here, trying to make another run, trying to work to the inside, but gets loose again. He's overheated those rear tires now, and he will not have as good of a drive on exit. I think you said it really well. He needs to take just a little bit of time to make sure he stays straight, doesn't slide those rears off of the corner, get them back down to a good optimized temperature to be able to mount up and tee up another run at the 62 of Hale, because he absolutely has the speed and the tires to be able to pass him for second.
Still trying to continue, and as this battle keeps going, Michael Wiseman is getting closer and closer in that 1 car. He hasn't been burning up his tires like Grout has, trying to force this pass for the last 10 laps, and now he is slowly but surely is the expression I'm looking for, reeling in Jake Grout and William Hale there, second and third, and perhaps most impressively, Wiseman is not one of the cars that took tires.
Well, and that's what happens when two drivers battle like this, when William Hale has to be focused on defending, when Grout is really focused on attacking. They're not able to take their optimal lap every single lap, and all the while, Michael Weissman right behind them, no challenge from behind, 7.4 seconds back for the 82 of Michael Knott. So it doesn't matter if he is losing a ton of times. We see the 10 of Hudson Geiger get real loose there as he goes another lap down here. We look at the 82 of Michael Knott. He is running in that 4th position, but Victor Pfluger also looking to break into the top 5 because Matthew Knott runs in 5th, Pfluger runs in 6th. So we'll continue to watch these two battles at the same time. But what a great night for Pfluger. He's up 14 spots from the start of this race and looking for another.
Mentioned it earlier, but it's a great race for Matthew Knott as well. He has gone from 17th up to 5th in what is pretty much a home race for him. It's the Nautical Marine 150. That Knott in the name is, in fact, the family of Matthew Knott, and he is doing pretty well right now for that sponsor. Got the car rolling in 5th, trying to hold on to it as the 18 of Victor Pfluger tries to hold in. We're still going at it for 2nd. Jake Grout refuses to calm down for even a second of this race. Nearly up in the wall again. They're working through 2 and nearly in it again down the back straightaway. He's pushing really hard, and you can't argue he's using it all up right now. He's going to be in trouble soon.
He absolutely is, and the thing is, I think he's got to take it on the high side. He's got to fake out the 62 of Hale to be able to take the low line. Oh my goodness, big time hit with the outside wall in turn number 1. He's going to lose more time because of that. You got to wonder if he might have any damage because of that hit. And I think this is some of that over driving that we talked about, that Grout just so close, but he needs to find something, and he's over driving it because of that.
Going back on board here with Grout real quick, because I want to look at this coming off the corner. Someone mentioned in chat his steering angle. We've seen cars with steering angles way to the right here with the setup. I'm not sure if that is just the way Jake Grout has set up this car, but it seems like it's maybe a little excessive with the way he's having to drive that thing off the corner. Could be some damage, could just be the way he likes it set up. I know we've seen Bodie with it going pretty far to the right here as well, so looks like mostly a setup thing, maybe also some damage with how hard Grout seems to be having to cook it to the left. He's certainly working that wheel a lot harder than William Hale is, which is going to go a long way towards burning up his tires. Look at how smooth Hale was versus how jerky Jake Grout is on the wheel. Every left-right turn as he moves through the corner is just more tire wear on that car that's going to hurt him in the long run.
That's exactly right. The smoother you can be on that wheel, the better it will be for those front tires. And I think you saw it as well. That steering offset was definitely further to the right for the 61 of Grout. We haven't talked about him in a good bit, but Corey Bodie running a great race, especially after he got the lead. He's up to a 2.3 second lead over William Hale, just working through lap traffic, trying to hope this race will go clean and green. 112 laps complete. Bodie has led 28 of them, so he probably won't lead the, well, he might barely lead the most laps here of the evening. But I think the first half of this race and the second half of this race are going to be two completely different stories for Bodie.
Yeah, he would have to pick Christian Peterson, who is now out of the race after an accident, and William Hale, who led much of the middle of this race if he does want to get most laps led. Jake Grout, he's still trying. I'll give him that. He's still trying, but I think just the way he's driving that car, we saw it on his in-car. Hale's right side tires are, let me get the exact number here, about 75 laps older than Jake Grout's, but you wouldn't know it because Hale has been so much smoother and more consistent on those tires than Grout has. And I mean, I'd say they're about equal right now, maybe even a little worse for that 61 car as he's going to get into the left rear of Hale, but he gets it out of there before they make too much contact.
Yeah, and Hale, I mean, what a drive he's having right now, just sticking to his line. He's able to do some micro defenses, and I think he's really letting the 61 of Jake Grout do all the work for him, and just staying where he's at, being able to defend, pinch him down off the corner, pinch him up off the corner towards the wall. And I think he's using some of Jake Grout's weaknesses. As there we go, Jake Grout gonna give a tap to the bumper of the 62, but still can't get to the inside.
No, when he's I think he might have to do it on the outside, but the issue is Hale is doing such a good job of defending the top that Grout hasn't been able to get that jump up there yet. Every time Grout pulls to the top to try and get it, Hale moves back up, and now Grout is in the fence, and he is loose. Tokyo drifting off the corner, holds on to it, but he loses half a second, and William Hale is back clear for now.
Back clear for now, but I think we're going to be able to see Grout drive back towards the bumper, and all the while, here is Michael Weissman. He's looking forward to take away the third spot here from Jake Grout, and he just could do it.
He's trying. That big moment there for Jake Grout that cost him about half a second has really put Michael Weissman, who's on the same length of tire as William Hale, back into this run. They will all clear that lap car there. A little further back, that is Alex Grates going 11 laps down as he continues to just try and limp it around for the points tonight. Matthew Knott also trying to just get some points. He's 5th right now in this race. Good run for him. Weissman starting to drop back a little bit now, though, in this fight.
Pfluger also dropped back from the 82 of Matthew Knott, but will continue to ride along here with Michael Weissman. But he has fallen back, like you said, and I think it's showing that speed of Grout. Weissman just does not have the same. If we look at lap times between the two, and I don't think Michael Weissman ran an 8-second lap the last time by. We'll get that reset and see. Michael Weissman's got something up with his time. There it goes. A 21.8 for Weissman and a 21.7 for Grout. So Grout is about a 10th faster every lap than Weissman. And he's showing it yet again because he's back to the bumper of Hale.
Yeah, Weissman's been having some internet issues a little bit more earlier in the race there, but that's what's causing some of those timing issues. Last time around, the fastest car on the racetrack was that 61 of Jake Grout. In fact, he was almost 2/10 faster than Corey Bodie, your leader, which makes me wonder, would he have something for that 44 if he got clear? Or would he kind of use up the tires? There are all these wall hits for Jake Grout, just aren't helping him at all. He's been in the wall what feels like every other lap, and as soon as he reels it back in, a big hit to the fence puts him another 6/10 back, and he's going to have to do it again as he hits the wall again down the back straightaway.
That's the thing. I mean, I think Grout's biggest enemy right now is himself. Just overdriving that car, because if you stay behind the 62 long enough, you can find a way around, but I think we've just seen too many mistakes from the 61, and I think part of that goes to the point if he was even able to get around him, I don't know if he'd be able to even pass Bodie.
I don't know if he would either, because we're running out of laps here. He spent so long trying to pass him that we're down to only 25 to go. For that 44 car out front, you're watching the battle there between Geiger and Matt Urban for that 7th and 8th place position as Bodie continues his dominant run here through the second half of this race. 2.5 second gap to William Hale. It looks like 2 tires on that pit stop on lap 75. There is gonna be the race winning pit strategy if we go green. William Hale maybe just a little caught out by that pit stop, and it's gonna be strategy giving Corey Bodie a big win here tonight if he can hold on for 24 more laps. Ooh, loose off the corner.
Well, and here's something I've got to think about for William Hale. The only thing that I can think about that made him decide to stay out was that he was thinking that track position might have been more important than it was. Because I think he saw through the entire time that Bodie was behind him, Bodie could not get around. And whether Hale believed that that was just raw pace or track position, I think he thought maybe track position was so important that it would be more important to stay out rather than pit for fresh tires.
He might have thought that for the track position. Bodie came out in 4th because we had so many cars caught up in the incident, so many cars kind of losing time under that caution, that Bodie got it out with no issues, and now Jake Grout has continued to close in slowly but surely on that 62 car. Hale, and the battle has been renewed for P2. Back down to 0.2 of a second, and as we do that, we are going to watch a driver cam here for Alex Grates in the 11 car, kind enough to give us an in-car. I have not seen a blinking light like that on a steering wheel, but I gotta say, pretty big fan of it.
No, yeah, I've seen that. I believe that's one of, I don't know if that's
Oh, Grout just dumped Hale.
No way. Oh my goodness.
Woo, that is gonna be one for the stewards to review. We'll get the drivertees.com replay as Grout looks low. He almost tagged him off that corner. It's coming down through 1 and 2, and Grout trying to find a way around contact with the 62, and he's into the outside wall.
Oh, and it's so tough again, because I go back and I look at it from both drivers' view, and it looks like the 62 tries to start diamonding the corner like he has been, and it looks like the 61 of Grout is overdriving it, starts to slide up. So it looks like they're driving up towards each other. One's coming down, one's coming up. I don't think that was the situation where the 61 just absolutely sent it in. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with, well, what our admin decision is here and say it looked like Hale went down. I called that on Grout initially. I just saw him kind of get into the back of that 62 car, but it definitely looks like Hale just kind of chopped the nose off Jake Grout there to cause that accident. They will both be given EOLs for their role in that caution, so they will drop to the back. That will promote Michael Wiseman up to second, and that will be pretty huge for Corey Bodie out here in the lead of this race. Although Corey Bodie has used his tire change. He can't come down and get another one. He's going to have to make do to the end of the race. Meanwhile, Michael Wiseman came down, put put 2 tires on it for that car. He'll run second. William Hale will come down, and while he'll get an EOL, he will also be on that same 2-tire strategy. So we've got a few cars here up front who are going to be on 60-lap fresher tires than Corey Bodie to try and steal the win away.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think Bodie will have an excellent defense, but that was definitely the last thing that he wanted to see in a 2.5-second lead before that caution. Oh goodness, this you look. If you thought we were going to have a boring end, well, your mind has been changed, because here we are. We're going to probably go green with about 16 laps to go. When we get the green this next time by, it will be double file restarts. Bodie on the inside of row 1, Weissman on the outside. Then it's Matthew Knott up in 3rd. William Hale, it looks like he's in 4th. Nope. It's going to be moved all around. I think, no, William Hale. Looks like on the timing screen it says 4th, but he is somewhere in the back because of that EOL. So it looks like Victor Fluger will also line up near the back. It looks like it's the 71 of Christian Peterson lining up over there, but he is multiple laps down. So we're going to have to figure out who's lapped down and who's not, but we'll get that all figured out here soon. Bodie, great jump. Green flag is away. 16 laps remaining for the leader. Michael Weissman on 60-lap pressure tires. Same with Matthew Knott.
Yeah, same with Hale back and forth, but he's got some lap cars to dice through if he wants to get back up there. Time is limited for either of those 2 cars to make the move, so they're going to jump on it right away. In the wall back there is Knott. Wiseman, however, is keeping it clean up front. Near contact into the back of 44. He's digging deep off the corner, all the way down on the flat bit as Bodie nails the wall. Michael Wiseman, your new leader.
Bodie, heavy contact with the outside wall out of 2, and you've got to wonder, he made the same decision as Hale last time, and we've seen it now 2 times in a row. Leader stays out, car behind pits, and the car behind absolutely blast on by them. What was Bodie thinking?
He was out of tires is what he was thinking. You only get 1 tire change for this race. He used it last time. He didn't have it again. You get 2 tire sets total for tonight. That is 1 on the car, 1 in the pits.
There was
Bodie
my
put
confusion.
his on half. Bodie put his on at halfway. He doesn't have another set to run, so that's all he's got are the tires he has on the car, and that is what is allowing Matthew Knott. And now, don't look, but it's William Hale back up onto the podium. He's trying to get around Bodie too, as Wiseman is gone off into the distance by 1.5 seconds.
Wow. Well, there was my confusion. I thought we had 2 raw sets of tires in the pits, not just one, and it included the one that these drivers started the race on. So my apologies, Corey and race fans. And, well, I guess my apologies to Hale as well. That's where my confusion set in. So Hale gets around Bodie for second. Matthew Knott also looking for a place on the podium in the 82. He is also on fresh tires. Jake Grout on those fresh tires as well after the contact with Hale. But now the true question is 1.6 seconds back for William Hale from the leader of Weissman. Can he get back to them with under 10 remaining?
Matthew Knott trying to sneak onto the podium here in the Nautical Marine 150. Part of the sponsor for this race. I guess one of the sponsors of this race here is Matthew Knott. And it would feel so good to go 17-3 and through the damage snag a podium for himself in a race that he is the sponsor of in that 82 car. See if he can get it done here over Corey Bodie. He's going to want that post-race interview to promote, that is for sure, but he only gets that if he gets around Bodie and sneaks a spot in the top 3. So a little something on the line there for that 82 to try and steal that position away as Bodie deals with the damage of that huge impact into the outside wall that cost him the race.
Bodie, a tough customer for the 82 of Michael Knott. Knott will continue to stay there, stay in the hunt, and all the while he stays right behind the 44. Well, the 61 of Jake Grout is on the move. He's up into 5th, and he's right here behind Knott. He's going to send it on the outside, looking to get to the outside. Not going to be able to do it this time out of turn number 2, but he is close and closing.
He is certainly there as we watch that 61 car and Jake Grout trying to get around the 82 on the top. We'll see if he can get it done this time. The answer is yes, indeed. It looks like he can. Jake Grout continues to try to work his way back up through the field here. Got some damage fixed on that pit stop, and he is now gunning for it in that 61 car.
Well, you had to think that Jake Grout was, or William Hale was maybe mad at Jake Grout for that incident, but, well, now I think you might guess that he could have a possible happiness about it. Grout continuing to try to work from the back after the EOL, slaps the wall again out of turn number 2, but he's able to get to the outside of Bodie this time. That's the strength that Grout has when he's able to get to that outside. He's able to roll the corner, he gets into the wall, sucks the car in, slows him down on the straightaway, but he's got great roll speed.
And Grout is on those older tires. He was in the pits for 30 seconds, but he only used it to fix damage. Didn't put new left sides on that car or anything, because we've seen a couple drivers say that the left sides actually get faster in these super lates the more time you put on them. Grout is in the wall. That's not going to help him, but he has gotten clear of Corey Bodie in the 44 and Matthew Knott in the 82 to snag the last spot on our podium tonight. Back up front, though. Right place, right strategy, right time for Michael Wiseman. He's going to lead 13 laps right now. I think he will lead 15 total laps in this race. And they are going to be the last 15 laps of this race. He's come on when it matters, and as he works his way through 3 and 4, it'll be white flag Michael Wiseman.
One more time for Michael Weissman. No threat from behind as he gets the white flag here at IRP. Round number 2 of the Hyper Summer Series. And you got to say that he really stayed in the game. Avoided incident all night long in a truly tricky race. He's going to take the checkered flag in the Nautical Marine 150 here at IRP, round number 2 of the Hyper Summer Series at Misfit Racing.
Hit that drift, Michael. You deserve it. What a run from him. Played the strategy perfectly. Got bailed out a little by that late caution, but sometimes it's better to be lucky on the strategy, and he got it done here tonight. right place, right time, and he got the right moves there to make a great pass on Corey Bodie and absolutely drive away with it to hold off the hard-charging William Hale.
Wow. I mean, I did not think we were going to see what we saw tonight. Michael Weissman takes the win, and it has been a while since he's been able to take the checkered flag here in the Misfit Racing League, whether it be the Hyper Summer Series or the Touring Series. I believe his last win was, I think, in Season 1 of the Touring Series, because he won the championship in the first Summer Series 1 year ago, but he did it without a win.
Yeah, and he's going to get that win now. Michael Weissman, like you said, always a driver we see up front. Not a driver we see in victory lane too often, so he's going to savor this one.
He'll savor it here. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back here at IRP with the unofficial results and interviews from the top 3. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
Will this time, he'll take a peek to the inside. Slide him high off the corner.
There's contact there in turn 1 and 2. Oh my goodness, Hatzler has it out front. Hey, bay doors.
Is going to take the victory 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's going to get through it all and score his first career win. Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
We return to IRP, where we saw a weird wacky, and exciting race in round number 2 of the Hyper Summer Series. Michael Weissman was able to snag the win away after crazy pit strategy, and where the cautions fell, William Hale came up just short, 1 second off of the lead in second. Jake Grout goes for a wild ride throughout the night, ends up in third. Corey Bodie, who seemed like what could have been the dominant run, the dominant car all evening long, will have to settle for fourth. Fifth, the sponsor of tonight, Matthew Knott. I was going to say Michael, it is Matthew. Matthew Knott will finish in fifth in the 82. It's the 48 of Matt Urban back in sixth. Then Hudson Geiger, who started all the way in the rear, finishes in seventh. Victor Kluger was in eighth. Aiden Grates was in ninth. And Aaron Harden rounds out the top 10.
11th tonight will be Alex Grace in the 11, Tristan Fieschi in the 12. Christian Peterson brings it home P13 with Justin Crow 14th and Grant Brown in 15th. Aaron Johnson, he's a ringer in these Super Late models, but it's not gone his way. 16th after an accident tonight. John Leday 17th, Frank Barbary 18th, Brandon Elvis 19th, Tim Weinkoff 20th, and the last two finishers are going to be Cody Dempster and Dylan Delaney.
Delaney had that rough start right at the beginning, turn one, lap one. But let's go ahead and let's get to talk to the winner of Michael Weissman. And Michael Weissman, it has been a while since we have gotten to see you in victory lane. So let's start off with how you feel, man.
Really ecstatic right now.
I
Been
absolutely
quite a while
bet.
since I've won in this series.
I know. Well, you got the championship back in the summer series of last year, but you were not able to pick up a win in season 2 of the touring series. So it's great to see you back in victory lane. You know, I'd say you remind me a lot of Mike Looney from South Boston. He's competed there in over 100 races. And he's only gotten 2 wins, but he's always battling for the win. But Michael, talk to me about the strategy of this evening, because this is a weird race.
100%. This was a weird race. The way it started, I wasn't sure how it was going to go. I know supers here are always iffy. I mean, I know we got a good group of guys that can trust one another, but I was just hoping to save as much of the left rear tire until we can bolt new tires on. I didn't plan on staying out, but I know Hale was really fast, so I was like, oh, I'm going to gamble and see what happens. Luckily, the caution fell when it did. I was 2 laps away from run out of gas.
Wow, did not think that fuel would come into any factor here this evening. Well, you were the Summer Series Season 1 winner, and you had a tough race at 5 Flags, but this win is going to majorly jump you up in the season standings. Do you think you could go back-to-back in the Summer Series and add a second championship to your name?
I mean, I'd love to be back-to-back. I know Jake Sylvia's. He's one of the other ones that's won tons of titles in here. I'm hoping I can be the first to go back to back, but there's an amazing group of guys in here like Hale, Corey Bodie, Christian Peterson. The list goes on and on. It's hard to be up here. I was lucky I was in the top 5 as much as I was all race. Luckily, somehow came out the win. I'm just happy to be standing up here.
Well, anyone you'd like to thank tonight, Michael?
Alex's Aerial Excavation Services, that's for sure. Alex's Totally Legal Race Engines, RKM for all the setup stuff they do for me and help me out. Patriot Media Marketing, and there's so many CB Designs. I can't list the rest of them. Oh, and Emerald and you guys for everything you do.
Well, we really appreciate it. Congratulations, Michael. Go and celebrate this win. Much deserved.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Always. Michael Weissman able to pick up the checkered flag the first time in a while, and you can tell that he is absolutely thrilled. Well, we'll get Sky to talk in here with William Hale, who finished runner-up.
Yeah, we'll get William Hale up into the booth right now. How you doing, William?
I've been better. Not gonna lie.
I want to first get your thoughts there on that late race incident with Jake Grout that led to you both getting an EOL.
Well, our race MRL Chevy Camaro was running really great tonight. Got to thank all the guys at Step Betty's Bar and Grill and and MRL for putting this on. Yeah, we had a really good car tonight and a really good race.
Put that down as a no comment. How does it take to kind of, when you have a race like this, when you've got a lot of accidents early, how does it take to kind of like lock back in, get back into the mindset, and run some clean laps after?
You just stay locked in the whole time. I mean, you just kind of go into a mind space and just try to commit to the program and work your program and work what you have that evening and or that day, and just try to do the best you can. I mean, there's a lot of yellows. We changed different restart procedures. I'm not really sure why we did that, but whatever. It kind of hurt me a lot. I'm trying to get by Christian there. I even knew we had a lot better car right there. The 10 laps we had. So, yeah, I'm not really sure. It seemed like a lot of the problem was in the back 40 tonight. So hopefully they can get that cleaned up. And moving forward and as we go to the next race. Yeah.
So you got second place tonight. I want to know a little bit about your pit strategy here, because it looked like you were falling back. You were battling with Grout for a while there because you didn't take tires, but you had them left for that last caution. Was the thinking that there would be another caution after 75?
That actually wasn't on purpose. The pit lane didn't open for me until after I had already passed it, and Corey went in right behind me as it opened. He dove in pretty quick because it opened that fast. So that was kind of the bet iRacing laid for me. I wanted to come down a little earlier. Obviously, it was the winning strategy because a car that we hadn't heard from all day ended up winning the race. So at the end, I had to start at the back and work our way up. We just didn't have the extra pace with the damage from hitting the fence. It just, we just worked as hard as we could. We just couldn't run him down fast enough with the amount of time we had left. So that wasn't on purpose. That wasn't a strategy at all. I felt like we had a really good car, even on old tires. We were holding those guys off. Had to save a little bit towards the end of that run, hoping for a yellow. We was about out of fuel. We had probably 10, 15 laps left, something like that. So, just kind of praying for yellow and just trying to ride around. Yeah, like I said, it wasn't on purpose, but we did have a really good car on old tires, come to find out. Corey I blew a corner on some scuffs, and he got by me pretty easy and kind of drove off in the sunset, and I was able to hold the other two off pretty solid. So just how it shook out.
All right, anyone you want to thank tonight?
I got to thank everybody at the Ball Bandits Racing, Corey Bodie Motorsports. You guys, especially you guys, did great tonight as always. I got to thank Kyle and his team at MRL. They worked really, really hard on the series to try to make it the best one. It didn't exactly show up tonight, other than the presentation part. And we on the ground racing have to do a lot better job on our end. And yeah, I just want to thank everybody. I got to thank Step Daddy's Bar and Grill, Daytona One, Pro Systems Brakes, and everybody that kind of helps us out in the real world and on the a little bit on the sim side every now and again. So yeah, like I said, thank you guys. We'll see y'all next race.
All right, congrats on P2, William Hale.
William Hale rounds out second position, so we'll get to talk now to Jake Grout. We'll bring him up in here. And Jake, you got a copy?
I got you.
Well, Jake, here's what I want to look on tonight. You finish in third, and I just want to know, what more do you think you needed tonight?
Not a broken right front. I don't really know. Battling with Hale was something. I got to his outside once and kind of squeezed me in the fence and broke the right front off. So that whole last 50 when I was trying to battle with him, I couldn't turn. So we had the misfortune in turn one, and then that really just screwed the car. So I guess third place is lucky.
Do you think that's where some of the big wall hits after that came? Because we obviously know you're an aggressive driver. You're a very good driver, but we saw just a little bit of I'd say sloppiness out of you that we don't normally see. Do you think it might have partly been because of that damage?
Yeah, that last 50, the right front was chattering really hard, and I didn't have the stability through it that I needed whenever I'd get to him. So That definitely was playing a factor, and then as well just having like the free play in the wheel because of it going down the straightaways. So that definitely didn't help. It was just a lot of factors, honestly.
Absolutely. And we'll go to Oxford Plains next race on July 6th. Tell me what you're going to think about Oxford. We had a great race there in the late model stock, but as you know, the super late model drives very different.
Yeah. If anybody knows me, I love Oxford, and I love running the sand at Oxford. So I'll probably be the highest car on the racetrack all night. So expect that. And if I'm out in the parking lot, expect that too, because I'll probably go one too high.
Well, Jake, anyone you'd like to thank tonight?
Absolutely. I got to thank Arcam Setup Shop, Grout Beatty Racing, AW Clark Builders, JNS Sales and Service, Curly Transport, White's Heating, MRL, Misfit Productions, you guys for broadcasting it as always. Anybody else that helps, CSV Motorsports, just everybody.
Well, Jake, we appreciate your time, and we know you wanted more than third place, but it sounds like you were lucky to be able to get that after all of the damage incurred. We'll see you at Oxford.
Thank you.
Jake Grout rounds out the podium here this evening from IRP, and that will do it all for us. We go to Oxford Plains. We'll get all the way up to Maine, some of the most northern points here. We'll take another look at the schedule. After that, we'll go to the Bull Ring, one of my favorite tracks, and then, of course, Myrtle Beach at the opening of August, and my all-time favorite track, Sky, South Boston Speedway on August 17th, which, hey, gotta say, the Thunder Road Harley-Davidson 200, less than a week from now, this up-and-coming Saturday, South Boston Speedway will go to Thompson and round out the championship at Hickory. But Sky, I know you love Oxford.
I love that place. It's such a unique track. If you remember Langhorne back in the day, if anybody was alive about 80 years ago, it's like a full circle. You're almost never going straight at that place with how wide the turns are. I love it. We had a great race there in the Touring Series. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It is going to be a lot of fun. We appreciate all of you viewers sticking around with us here this evening in the Nautical Marine 150 from IRP, race number 2 of the Hyper Summer Series. We got to give a big shout out to all the admin over at MRL, like Jake Sylvia and Kyle Adams, everyone at VSPEED, Bradley Cooper and Adam Baker, and of course for our production team, Morgan Cook in production, and my colleague in the booth, Sky Shrek. My name is Scott Shive. We'll see you soon. And of course, we got to give our final big shout out, of course, to Nautical Marine. And they're founded by the Knott family in 2022 and brings over 65 years of combined experience and deep-rooted passion for boating to every customer they serve. As a veteran, a first responder-owned Mercury Marine dealer, they will redefine the dealership experience with unmatched service, integrity, and expertise. From sales to maintenance, Nautical Marine is committed to quality, honesty, and building lasting relationships on and off the water. You can check out all that they have to offer at nauticalmarine.com. This has been the Nautical Marine 150. We'll head off to Maine, and we'll see you at Oxford on July 6th.
Is going to take the victory 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's going to get through it all and score his first career win. Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.